Hail Hail and welcome to the Temporary Stand podcast number 26, and we are a Hail Hail media production. After the international break, we're back with myself, Johnny and Fra. We sit down and comment about the monumental Hillsborough report and our limited memory of the tragic day itself and its repercussions. We then look at the dismal display at St Johnstone before we get our teeth into the Celtic under-20 team and what we can expect from these young hoops. We hope you enjoyed this effort. Now else to say but see you on the other side. Good evening, it's the 16th of September, it's 8:30 and on the line for Glasgow we have Johnny.
How you doing?
And also we have Fraser.
How's it going?
Well lads, we'll kick in, and obviously the big football news of the week is the Hillsborough report coming back, ultimately declaring that, as I think a load of suspected, it wasn't the fans' fault for what happened that day. It was the police force and the government at that time were guilty of a lack of comprehension, a wee bit of understanding, certainly compassion, and I think basic humanity was missing a wee bit there. We all know what happened that day and the repercussions that have affected football fans all through the country, due course both leagues in Scotland and England declaring all-seater stadiums, so it has affected the majority of football fans up and down the country. We're a wee bit younger, not too young, but we're a bit younger, so we can't really remember the actual events and stuff, but I'm sure we all remember the impact on the day. What brought Celtic into the equation was that 14 days after the events, on the 15th of April, Celtic were chosen to hold the fundraiser for the Hillsborough Disaster Fund, and basically a memorial for those who died. Entry at the main stand was £5, with the programme costing £1. The attendance on the night was 60,437. Celtic lined up with Bonner, Morris, Rogan, Aitken, McCarthy, Burns, Miller, McStay, Coyne, McGee and Start, with Davy Elliott, White, Bailey, Andrews, Fulton and Stuart Barmer's subs. Liverpool lined up with Grobler, Gillespie, Burrows, Nicol, Venison, Hansen, Dalglish, Houghton, Rush and McMahon, with Aldridge, Beardsley, Ablett and Staunton on the bench. So, Liverpool won 4-0 on the day, with the goals coming from Dalglish, Aldridge, Turam and Ian Rush. But as we all know, the game was kind of a backdrop, what you would call a metaphorical arm round another club's shoulder. The ever endearing image being Kenny Dalglish smiling after his goal and the Celtic support even joining in with the applause. Right, Fraser, as I said earlier, we're all a bit younger. We don't remember it immediately, being 8, 9 and 10, whatever. But do you remember the impact on the Celtic fans, and do you remember the impact as a whole? And even the news, do you feel the impact of the Hillsborough stuff?
You really do. Personally, at the time, I don't think I appreciated how severe it actually was. I can remember always watching the telly and my mum and dad, I can't believe this, I can't believe that, and you know, and all the fans speaking about it, and then obviously you mentioned earlier about the impact it basically had on football in the UK, if you like, with regards to the stadiums becoming all-seaters, etc. The impact it's had has been absolutely massive. But, I mean, on that city as a whole, it pretty much united that city, united football. Because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, there's things more important than football. And I kind of grasped that. I can remember the Celtic game. And it's basically my real vivid memory of the Celtic fans really, really giving it loudly with "You'll Never Walk Alone," you know?
Yeah. You're right what you're saying. It's impacting us still to this day, which is good, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's horrendous what happened that day. I mean, I was reading it this week again, and you're sitting there in tears just reading about it. And you think somebody's, I mean, the story I was reading, that Bruce Grobler was in goals and people were begging him to get him to open the gate. I mean, I know. And you think about it yourself. I mean, Johnny, me and you have been to a few games recently where we've not had a drink, surprisingly enough, and we've got into the game early. You think, these people get into the game early and get crushed because of it? I mean, what's your thoughts on it, reading it all back this week?
Well, just reading the report, I didn't even read the full report, but reading the report, it's just gross incompetence, and the fact the authorities and the police, the government, were just too concerned with blaming hooligans. That day they were just caring about catching fans, scallies or whatever they thought they were calling them. Just brutal, and I think basically the fans that day, if you went to the left, you were fine. If you went straight ahead,
yeah, that's right.
You went in and that was it.
Was it not a case there was 3 pens within that area? There was a left and a right, but everybody wanted to get in the centre one.
Aye. But guys had been before and they knew it got busy, really busy in the middle one. So they knew better and they went down to the left. Because I was reading a guy talking about how when this was all going on, they didn't really know and they went back down to get a coffee in the left-hand side one. So it was totally fine in that one compared to where it was in the wood one. It's just, then you think yourself, if you hadn't been to somewhere, say it was somewhere in Scotland, you'd want to go in the middle one, you'd be all excited.
Yeah.
So it could easily happen to anybody.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just how much a simple choice like that could have affected you differently. But the whole stuff all around about it, just like you could talk about it for hours. The government and Thatcher and the South Yorkshire Police, it's frightening.
I mean, even for the opening gambit, that the coppers didn't want the hassle of having fans crossing each other. That was the whole reason why they were given opposite ends. You know what I mean? You were saying, well, the Liverpool fans are coming for here, and you've got the Nottingham fans coming for here, so they'll just get to the ends, even though that Liverpool's get probably twice as much support.
Because Forest got more tickets.
That's right. Yeah. That's how they go, and Liverpool ended up in the leading ends. But I think a lot that's been said about it, and I don't think we can really add anything more. It was good that the truth came out, but still to this day it's a horrendous thing. So
it's nice that we let them win 4-0, right enough.
Aye. Did you see Douglas Aldi's rush? Pfft, what a strike force, eh?
I know.
Who the hell's Dave Elliott?
Do you remember Davy Elliott? Davy
No.
Elliott was a wee fullback who played for us. I think he was like a wing back before he was a wing back. A left back he was. I might be right there. Do you remember him, Fraser?
I don't know, but out of interest, did we not lose the league like the week before?
Yeah, we lost the league, that's right.
I
Up in Aberdeen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Aye.
Right, okay, so we'll finish off with that and we'll move on and we'll have a wee look at the game. Okay, lads, we're back in, so let's get down to business. St Johnstone 2, Celtic 1. Johnny, go for
Right. I just think we scored too early and complacency set in. See the way we ended up beating Helsinki 2-0 right enough, but see when we scored so early against them, we just stopped playing, but we got lucky that day. And then against St Johnstone yesterday, we scored that early and they just didn't play at all. The defence is still honking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll have a totally different mindset and a bit of get up and go on Wednesday. It just, domestically, it just seems as though they think they need to turn up a wee bit. But saying that, we were good against Inverness. But Lustig's awful, man. Absolutely awful. I just want to jump on the park and rip his moustache off his face. But the boy Miku, they were humping the ball up to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the kind of player he is. So if they want to start humping the ball up to him, you need to start learning how to take kicks from behind after like Sir Fraser Wright and that whoever that guy Stephen Anderson I think is, who I've never heard of until yesterday. All these guys will start be kicking lumps at him if we just get high balls up to him. That's not the way he needs to play the game. But apart from that, I thought Scott Brown was good, and it's worrying that he's got this degenerative hip injury, so he's not going to be able to play a lot. So hopefully he'll be in for the big games, like Benfica in the Champions League. Yeah,
I'll pick up what you say, Johnny. I think we can't sit here and criticise any of the players. Lustig maybe exceptional, and Miku as well, because these guys have done the job for us. I mean, we've praised them. I think we've praised everybody on that pitch at least once. So Fraser, is it a case of they're just turning it on enough?
Definitely. That. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know if any of you noticed. Did you notice how bobbly the St Johnstone pitch was?
I didn't. No.
The ball was bobbling constantly. By the way, nothing to do with anything that I'm just about to say, but it was. That's a wee bit off topic. I think the team went out there with we're going to roll it right over the top. We've got a strong team out, and we're just going to demolish this mob. The way that Gregory Taddy bullied our defence was embarrassing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I think he got a lot of favours for the referee. With regards to, if two players are jostling for a ball, it's 50-50 in my opinion. And it was completely, any time they were jostling for the ball, he got the decision. But apart from that, there was no passing. There was no passing for that Celtic team at all. And I think it was complete complacency from the team.
Yeah. Tony Watt missed a great chance at the end as well. I mean, do you think, are we walking away blaming the referee here?
No, I'm not.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
It's frustrating, isn't it, that the guys are paying their money to go up and see Celtic, but can you let the players off with having this attitude? Because to be perfectly honest, the fans have got this attitude.
They're going to get away with it, right? The players, because, and I'm being cocky here, but we will win the league, right? We're not going to be in the Champions League forever. This season, we're not going to go all the way to the final. That's me just being realistic, right? So they're going to have a time when they're going to have to just solely concentrate on the league. But at the minute, they need to get it into their mindset. Somebody mentioned yesterday on the TV that Barcelona, I think it might have been Gordon Strachan actually, they need enough play the same team for about 60 odd games. All right, the few wee injuries aside, but they don't have a league team and a Champions League team.
I think it stood out for me, guys, was the fact Chris Commons scored that goal in the third minute or so. Chris Commons then had a good free kick chance, and then at the end Chris Commons hit a shot that skied it. Just from, why is only Chris Commons hitting the shot? Why are we no peppering this goal, Johnny? Why is Celtic not having more shots at goal? I mean, Gary Hooper is every week. I saw people criticising Gary Hooper again today. I thought Gary Hooper, he drops so far to get the ball because we're no feeding him. I can't remember any clear chances he's having.
But he's no. I think we could count on one hand the amount of goals Hooper scored from outside the box. He scores all his goals in the penalty spot for close to the goal. So I don't think we can kind of blame him for not having shots outside the area. But the other ones, Forrest does have shots, but everywhere he goes now in the SPL, he's getting two guys with him, sometimes three, and it's making him ineffective. But Wanyama had a stinker yesterday. He never really hits shots, Wanyama, really, does he? Scott Brown has the odd shot outside the box, but I mean, Commons, you kind of get annoyed with him when he hits shots over the bar because he scores goals all the time. You can't really put your finger on why other players don't seem to shoot so much.
But this is my point, no, Johnny. I mean, Chris Commons is the only guy that seems to have. He opens up, he finds an area, and he has a go, right? And I like it. I've been said it, I don't know, many times on here that I think that's, but it's not happening. I mean, Scott Brown's shooting. There was a couple of times the ball opened up for him. He doesn't have a shot. As you say, Wanyama's happy enough to pass, and Forrest doesn't get the chances to shoot. So, John, what would you think on Miku then?
I was thinking, I thought he started the game off alright. When we were first 15-20 minutes, we were looking pretty good. Had some good touches. He maybe looked a wee bit off the pace, but that's to be expected when you've never played for the club before. But then we just stopped playing football after that. We just started humping the ball up to him, and he's got guys coming through the back of him. And that's just not going to work for the guy at all. I mean, he likes playing the counter-attack, he likes running at people, he likes getting the ball, doing quick interchanges of passes. And that wasn't happening at all. But I did notice during the game, we were talking about this before, there was a foul on James Forrest. I can't remember what player it was, but he went right through Forrest, and then he got the ball. And Stephen Craig was on the telly, complaining that it wasn't a free kick. That's kind of what's wrong in Scottish football as well. The fact that people still think it's acceptable to go through the man to get the ball, whereas anywhere else it's seen as kind of taboo.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that's holding us back, and Mika's going to have to get used to these kind of tackles if we don't play his strengths.
What was your thinking of the new guy, Fraser?
I think the way the team's tactics or the way we played, the boy must be like that. Fucking hell, What's going on here? I've came to a team who are meant to be the champions. I'm a link-up player. I like the ball at my feet and all that. I can turn players, and I'm just getting long balls all day into me. And it was disappointing. He's got a few good touches, the guy, but he's clearly off the pace. But I've got no doubt he'll get plenty of chances playing in this team, you know. So I'm quite optimistic about the guy. The other guy, Lassad, looked really good.
Aye, I thought that as well. When he came on, he's a very, very nice touch on him, doesn't he?
Very much so, aye.
I look quite silky.
Well, lads, a disappointing day, but I think the players just didn't turn up. I think that's the overriding. I think Neil Lennon said that as well. The attitude seemed to be wrong rather than. I actually saw it on Twitter. It was a hell of a point. Somebody says you had one team there fighting for the manager and you had another team thinking about the game on Wednesday. But that's how round it up. I'm sure people will talk better about it. But we'll move on to part 3 where we're going to start talking about the Celtic under-20 squad. Right, lads, we're going to change tack now for part 3. Celtic, again, are involved in the Next Gen series, which is a Champions League, basically, for under-20s, under-21s, I think it is. And Celtic played their first game last week. We ended up on a 2-1 defeat to Sporting Lisbon. And Tottenham, I think, was just this week past. Tottenham had actually been beat off of Barcelona. I need to check up the other scores saying that, but keeping Celtic in mind, Johnny, you were at the game. Go fling us a couple of stats and facts of what happened with the game.
The Sporting Lisbon game, I take it. Right?
Yeah.
Right. The team they were pretty good, but it was quite clear the difference between Sporting Lisbon and Celtic as regards technique, composure, patience in the ball, and slickness. Generally, a lot of Celtic players seem to kick the ball into the ground when they're passing it, and the Sporting Lisbon players just looked far more comfortable in the ball. And I noticed that when our defenders have got the ball and they get it and they pass it, they get it back. They get bored doing it, so they end up humping it up the ring. And Sporting Lisbon defenders, they weren't doing that. They were just kept passing. And it was the same as last year against when I watched them at the under-19s at Parkhead playing in the tournament. They would pass, and then hump it, as opposed to pass, keep the ball. So that's one of the main differences between us and the continental teams, that we will get bored passing it, because it's not really in their techniques to just keep the ball retention all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, just to add to what I was saying, as I said to you, Celtic were beaten 2-1 by Sporting Lisbon on the 6th of September. Well, that actually puts us into third, that defeat, as Sporting Lisbon had already beat Aston Villa at Villa Park 3-1, and that was in August. And Aston Villa were beat 1-0 by PSV, who's also in the group, in Eindhoven. So there's a lot to play for in this group. I mean, the top 2 qualify, so there's still something to go. Fraser, just to talk about the Next Gen, I mean, it's widely seen as for developing players, you really need to be in it. All the top teams in Europe all seem to be wanting to get in it. What benefits are Celtic initially going to see if you've been involved? What do you think?
The obvious benefit is playing against the teams that we're going to kind of potentially meet in Europe's elite youths, and to see how our youths and our training compares against theirs. That is what I would see as the obvious benefit. It then also gives us the opportunity to potentially see some maybe youths with other teams that are maybe not going to make the grade that we feel could potentially fit into our way of thinking as well. So there's a couple of benefits from it, but it's great exposure for the young lads. It's a great experience for them to get the opportunity to play against these guys, because they might not get it again. A lot of these boys might not even make it. So even just for life experience, it's fantastic for them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever get the worry, right, that Celtic, a club, are happy to be involved in this without a kind of a real intention of making proper use of it? Is that just my cynical side coming out?
I think that's a bit of cynicism there, Scott, to be honest with you. I think there's no doubt that I mean, let's be honest, if we could produce youths and bring like 3 or 4 through every season, then we would do it and we would try our best to do it. It's very, very difficult to do. Very difficult.
But this is what I'm aiming for it, Fraser. As we're sitting here talking just now, we've all happy enough that this season is going to be the season that we're going to be blooding these youth players and the youth team, and it's actually going to start paying dividends this season. We've seen a few guys come in to varying success, you would say. Twozik's looked the part in place. Tony Watt certainly come on with a bang. Do we claim Tony Watt? We'll come to that in a second. I'd actually went, Johnny, we'll come to the fact that we went and seen Celtic under-20s playing on Thursday at Firhill versus Dundee United. And the end result was 3-2 after Celtic took a 3-0 lead, and there was a boy Anticic, is it, Johnny? Do you know how to say his name? Anticic scored a hat. He scored a hat trick again, I'm led to believe. But I'd say to you beforehand, what am I going to be seeing here, Johnny? What's he going to like? And you said to me, I don't really expect any of these guys to be pushing our first team. And what I've seen, despite the weather not making it much of a football match, aside for the striker who knows where the net is, nobody stood out. Nobody at all. No, there was no Dylan McGee, there was no Aidan McGeady guys that they come in. I mean, there might be guys that come in and actually make a career out of football, which I hope they all do, personally speaking. But why are the guys no making that next step to being regular, very, very good football players? I mean, as it sits now, we've got in our Celtic first team squad, we've got Charlie Mulgrew, who started and left the club. We've got the keeper Feely. We've got Paul Slane. We've got Tony Watt, who was signed for Airdrie, is that right?
Yep.
Right.
No, it was I.
Airdrie. And we've got the boy Jackson Irvin, who'd signed in 2010, and he came for Australia. We've got Chalmers, Fraser, McGeoch, who crossed the divide after crossing the divide. We've got Forrest, and we've got the 2 Twarzik boys who signed in 2009. Why are they never making that big step? Why are we not getting a consistent run of guys who are coming in and making a massive impact in this team? What's your opinion, Fraser?
I think it's that hard to basically be that wee small level. You don't realise you can be technically a very, very good player, but you're just not good enough to make that step up. To play for Celtic especially, you need to essentially go out and win every game. And that's what cuts us apart from a lot of other countries. They can bring young lads through and they don't necessarily need to win every single game. With us, they do, especially in Scotland. When the old co were cutting about, we essentially had to win every game. So it's so hard to blood youngsters because they need to be at this level. Obviously, we've been, I say spoiled, but guys like Aidan McGeady and all that, I mean, he was just that level above so early that it was clear he was going to be a kind of main player for us. It's just very, very difficult. I don't think we do anything different for any other country. I think just being Celtic alone makes it very difficult for us to bring guys through.
You don't think we do anything different for any other country, really?
Not particularly, no.
Johnny, what do you think of that?
Well, I think you might have been a bit harsh because we have lost McGeoch, Watt, Twardzik, and there's a boy George who was meant to be great. I've never seen him play, but he's probably due back in the next couple of months. So the under-19s, under-20s have lost these 4 guys. So it's maybe going to take time for other ones to step up.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the boy Twardzik's 19, the Philip. I don't rate the guy at all. His brother's in the first team, but this one seems like a more frustrating Samaras, if that's possible. It's not odd doing them like the likes of Fisher has been decent in the 2 games. Fraser's only turned 18 the last couple of months. He looks okay. And the boy Finlay, I think he's only 17. He didn't play against Dundee United. He's a big, massive boy. His head looks too wee for his body. So it'll be interesting to see how his body develops and how he turns into a player, because he looks quite cumbersome, but by all accounts he was really good against Norwich towards the end of the season. But it's the boys near the front that it's really hard for these guys, the guys that attack midfielders, to break into the first team of Celtic. because they've got to be really outstanding. But at least we've not got a team of youth midgets anymore. I remember we used to just have midgets.
But
in the youth
but
team
you say
trying to
that,
come through.
but you say that, Johnny, that these guys, the forward guys, find it hard to break in. I disagree and say they guys seem to be getting more of a chance because they're standing out, whereas the guys at the back aren't getting a chance. I mean, Joe Chalmers come on against, was it Inverness? And Marcus Fraser played against Rennes. Am I right there? Was it
Yep.
Rennes or was it Udinese?
That was Rennes, yeah.
Rennes. So he came on against Rennes and was impressive. And we've not really seen the boy since. And we've went and signed, obviously we've signed the two forwards and we've signed the centre back. But it's unlikely you'll see any of these defenders be in the team yet. Tony Watt's encouraged and Twardzik encouraged. I mean, why is there does it come back to what Fraser was saying, that Celtic need to win every game so these defenders don't get a chance because we don't want to put them under undue pressure?
I don't know. I think Watt got in the team at first by luck because we were short on strikers. McGeoch made the breakthrough because he's exceptional. And Twardzik, well, I'm not Twardzik biggest fan, to be honest, so there must be something that Lennon sees that he wants to see if it works. But I don't know, Fraser did look good against Rennes, so you're maybe right, again, he's maybe less willing to take a risk with defenders.
I think Marcus Fraser's just got to work on his physical size, Scott, at the minute. I don't think there's any doubt about his ability. I think as a centre half, but physically now, you need to be a big lump. You know, you need to be, I'd say, 12, 13 stone, but solid. Do you know what I mean?
To interrupt you, Fraser, you made a great point earlier on about the big Taddy. Taddy is a Haddy, to be perfectly honest, but the big boy, the referees, and I'm going to come to referees in a minute, the referees let that guy have a good game, I thought, on Saturday. Yep. And as you say, if we fling the big boy Fraser in, he can maybe look worse by getting bullied. I mean, Kelvin Wilson's no wee guy and he was getting flung about.
I know.
You know what I mean? I done a wee exercise earlier on, and it was just looking at guys in the Scottish Premier League who have came through Celtic's youth system, and we're sitting about, right, if we include loans as well, like guys like Lewis Toshney and Blackman, right? I don't know if we include Blackman because he never really came, but he's in our system. You've got over 14 guys playing in Scottish Premier League and who used to play, who came for the Celtic youth team or Celtic reserve team, that would have been at the time. So these guys are going to are making decent careers as a Celtic footballer. But again, it comes back to Aidan McGeady seems to be the only guy that ever took it to that next level. Is it a Scottish football thing? I mean, Fraser, I'm going to come back to what you said earlier on. We're not doing anything different. Is it just Scottish football as a whole? Or, I mean, for years, you remember these wonder kids we've signed in the past, and they seem to never be able to make that next step up. Yeah. Aidan McGeady, I mean, we're even talking about Dylan McGeoch. John, you say Dylan McGeoch's come into the first team because he's exceptional. I believe that Dylan McGeoch has come into the first team because that's how we got him. Because we basically took him out of Rangers reserves, didn't we? What's needed for these guys to go and do it? I mean, I'm worrying that we're going to see our next gen, and every other team we play, the thing over the board is technically they're better than us. Why are we no better technically, Fraser?
That's a $1 million question, because I think if MD knew it, Scotland would be one of the best football nations in the world, because everybody's football daft, you know.
But it's mental though, is it? No, we're sitting watching Scotland. Well, I don't know if any of you guys watched. I watched Scotland the second half against Macedonia. In Macedonia, right? Obviously you've got guys like Pandev and stuff like that. But Macedonia controlled the ball, whereas our guys, I'm not talking about all of them, but it was taking 2 touches to get this ball under total control. And you're looking at it going, what's happening? Why is this happening? And we're led to believe that Celtic are far ahead of everybody else in the rest of this country. And to be perfectly honest, the amount of guys who have came through Celtic's youth system and is playing up and down this country as a fact here that we are head and shoulders youth-wise. So why are we no kind of getting a better standard of player? I really speculate. Why is it not happening? Is it the whole Glasgow thing? You're bringing these guys into Glasgow. They've signed for Celtic. They think they've made it. Johnny.
I don't know. I think we maybe just don't concentrate enough on first touch and things like that at an early enough age. I remember playing football and we never really get taught all that kind of stuff early on. I think they still do a lot of running at a really young age and stuff, and we guys don't need to practice running because they could run all day. But I do think they don't start teaching techniques, first touches and all that kind of stuff too early on. I mean, I've not got any kids, but if I ever have a son, we'll be getting a size 5 football till he's like 13. He'll be learning to use a tennis ball and a golf ball and a size 3 ball. And that'll be his first touch. Will be cracking. His technique will be really good. I think that is a big factor.
What is that, Fraser?
If John had a boy, he'd be too wee anyway.
Good to hear them about.
And I'll contradict myself because I said we used to have a team of youth team midgets, but they never seem to grow. They never seem to fill out or anything like that. You've got the likes of Xavi and Iniesta. They're strong as an ox, these wee guys. But wee guys never seem to be very strong as an ox. But it's the mentality in Scotland. If you're big and tall and get half the talent, you will get picked up. If you're smaller and stuff, then you'll just get told, no, you're too wee. And that's happened. I could count countless people. There's that many people that I know that get told they were too small when they were growing up playing football, and they just gave in. And then you end up with the likes of Kirk Broadfoot, Fraser Wright making a career out of football when they're just big lumps of wood.
While I was doing that process earlier on, you've got to. I must admit in myself, I was happy enough that so many guys are getting a chance up and down the country, right? But this was a conversation, and I'd like your opinions on it. This was a conversation I had in work, and it was regards you're growing up, and we're now everybody's following the Barcelona tax, should I say, and your size isn't as important now. Johnny, your upper body strength and your strength of a footballer seems to be more important than your size now. But so you think about it all the way through, you're looking at technique. You're getting up to, I think, 14 or 15 before you start playing competitively to try and tie in with the rest of Europe. I think that's what's happening. I've seen that up in place. So you've got that, and even at the under 20s, it's really not about winning. It's not about winning. But then you're thrown into a first team in a Scottish Premier League, and outright, we'll talk about outside the Celtic. You've got an example. Somebody said to me Dundee had set themselves up to play in the Scottish First Division, and they got promoted because of the forces of darkness and stuff like that. So now they're in the First Division with a team set up for they're in the Premier League with a team set up for the First Division. And now he's saying to me, we can't afford to get back down because of what we're paying up here. So is it that fear factor that's making Kirk Broadfoot a career and making Fraser Wright and Ross Totley a career, thus kind of negating all the good work the Celtic do? Do you think that's fair, Fraser?
I suppose you have got a point. I think the way a lot of these teams will look at it is who can I get that's really tall, really brave, and will kick technically good players to negate them. And that's the way they look at it. They look at ways of stopping Celtic. They don't look at ways of developing their team more.
Mm-hmm.
And that, let's be honest, that is it. I mean, I can guarantee you there's still teams that grow their grass a wee bit longer, make sure their park's a bit bumpier. It still goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So to try and negate us, it's not about them being better. It's about stopping us.
Should we then say that we're up front at uphill task every time then with regards player? I mean, we're demanding now, right? We're seeing the Huns died, right, and they'll not be back in whatever form for a good couple of years, and we're now talking about, it was something, again, I don't like to always talk about it, but the huddle board, and we're talking about, we'd like to see Celtic more control of the ball, be able to control a game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
see, yesterday we went 1-0 up, and say we wanted to kill that game just by keeping a hold of it.
Mhm.
You would say that majority of teams in Spain can do that,
They
whereas
can, yeah.
we, the best team in Scotland, the representative in the Champions League, can't kill a game by controlling it. And it now looks like, for what we're saying here now, then we're on to plums because we're always going to be coming up against the ex-plumber who's going to be hammering us. John, does that sound right?
Aye, I can totally see your point in that other teams might do it like that, and that's a problem all the way through Scottish football. I think Celtic are trying to go totally independent for the way the rest of Scottish football is. You've got all these boys going into the schools and stuff, and they're training for an hour every day, kind of thing. Nobody else does that, so I think we're trying to change the way we bring up these boys, but it's going to take time. And I think it's really good that we're doing that, and we have got some of the boys come through, Wharton, etc., come through already. So hopefully, some of the guys that we have watched the last two games at Firhill, so some of these guys will hopefully develop through the next year. We might not win all the games, but hopefully they will develop, and it will show that our youth system is working, it's improving, and we're going to start getting better calibre of players coming through with better techniques and more composure on the ball. But it's going to take time. But I do think we're trying to be different for the rest of Scottish football, where that's a whole other conversation where you could talk about the SFA, grassroots and all that, and the old boys club and things like that. But it's another thing I wanted to mention was I was talking to my pal Paul at the Sporting Lisbon game. Like we went to watch AC Milan before we played Celtic in the Champions League, and seeing you go in the circle and you've got the guy in the pig in the middle, they take that deadly serious, and it's a tiny wee circle. And if they lose the ball, they get absolutely ridiculed. I mean, they're taking it deadly serious. And any time you see Celtic players doing that, and any time we've played football and we're doing the wee thing in the middle, it's just a bit of a joke. But for these teams in Europe, it's a massive thing. They were just wee touches, tiny wee touches, but they were barely ever losing the ball. It was a massive deal, whereas over here it's seen as a bit of a joke and a laugh.
To change tact a wee bit, it was something somebody said earlier on, I think it was you, Johnny, about referees. Are referees to blame? I mean, I was always... Us three guys have all played football. You guys played at a higher level than I certainly did, right? And we played football, and I was a centre half, and I came with the result matters more. And I must admit, the older I get, the more I'm softening to see guys diving. I'm thinking, see guys diving, that's what they should be doing. Because referees, we're talking about that game on Saturday, and then if you look right back to the Inverness game, and we spoke about it with Wally Collum, some of the things these referees are letting getting away. This boy Miku must be wondering what he's came to. When that big Taddy can fling people about, and then guys can go through, and it's let go, or it's unlucky. You've just caught him there, unlucky. Does the referees need to be tightened up in this country, Fraser?
I think that's. I think the referees do need to be tightened up, but they've been needing to be tightened up for about 100 years, to be perfectly honest with you. Our referees are never going to be professional, unlike England, due to the kind of structure and all that and financial implications. So you're always going to get a level of... I think they're probably the best they can be. You're always going to get that level of amateurish about them with certain decisions, unfortunately. I think that's nothing we can change due to the country we live in.
But can you change it? I disagree with that. I disagree. I think that, and Johnny, jump in here if you disagree with me again, that we should be protecting. I mean, ultimately we're never going to go nowhere as a country if referees are going to let these guys like Ian Black's a thug. Do you know what I mean? And everybody knew he was a thug. The Huns knew he was a thug. Hearts knew he was a thug. Right? But this guy is prospered as a player, so much so that, and even in the third division, he get capped for Scotland, which is pathetic. But I believe that referees have made him the guy he is by letting him away with some horrible, horrible tackles. And I don't see why the whole of Scotland, I don't see why the SFA can't say to the top refs, right, get this clamped. Get this clamped. I mean, Aidan McGeady, right? Let's go back to Aidan McGeady. Aidan McGeady started getting called a diver. Do you remember the game he gets sent off? Because there was a bit of doubt that he dived.
Aye,
right?
Against Hibs, we were at it.
These guys were going around the pitch, just rattling him. There was, as you said, and we Forest, Celtic fans have actually bit into it as well, including myself. How annoying is it seeing wee Forrest sitting there with his arms up there? It's so frustrating, is it not?
Yeah.
But this young guy's getting clipped and he's getting two guys on him, and if one of them doesn't get him, the other one gets him. And I can understand why he's kind of. And I'm actually come to the thing about diving. I mean, it's a British hate, but see, to be honest, what do you want these guys to do? Do you want them to do it back? Do you know, is that what they want? They want to get a stand up for yourself. He done you, go and do him like you do in amateur football. I don't agree that the referees can't be changed, and I must say, if we want Scottish football to flourish, I think the guys have got to be told to clean up Scottish football as well. Johnny, do you agree with that?
I will get a duty to protect the players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is their primary duty? To uphold the rules of the game? Is it? I don't know the job description type thing, but the biggest thing should be protect the players. Because Billy Collum, like you mentioned, up in Inverness, but we were in 3-0 or 4-0, then it went to 4-2. Was it 4-0?
Aye.
First?
Aye, it was.
When it went to 4-0, they'd done 3 or 4 really bad tackles, and he let them away with it. It was kind of like, the game's done, I'll just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes these things happen over and over again. So why the refs do, and like the likes of Michael Owen and Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, if these guys dived a lot more, they probably did dive, but if they dived a lot more, kind of thing to avoid getting kicked, their careers would have probably lasted longer than they have, even though Michael Owen seems to have somehow got another premiership.
I agree with you, Johnny. I really do. I actually think we've made a couple of good points about Celtic here, and where they really go. Fraser, you made a good point again about the pitches and stuff. You come to Celtic Park and it's a place to play, and it is a paradise for good technical players. And then you're going up to, I mean, the one that always sticks out is Motherwell. Remember, how could anybody play football in that? No. Yet they played on every week, and they didn't seem to be upset about it.
Can I just make a point regarding youth players? See, over a 10-year period, if we get another one, Aidan McGeady, it makes it all worth the while. I understand your frustrations about we should be bringing players through year after year, and there's a lot that don't make it and all that. But that's pretty much the way all the clubs in Europe think about it. If they can get one superstar over maybe a 5-year or a 10-year period, then it's all worth the while. That is the way they look at it.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Fraser. I'm maybe being critical for critical's sake. To get a discussion here. I mean, I'm loving the boy Forrest. I would have Forrest playing every week. I like his directness. Sometimes I find him a wee bit frustrating because he doesn't go wide as much as I think.
He's a winger. Wingers are frustrating, aren't they?
Oh, exactly. But you can tell that he's under orders. Neil Lennon's got an idea for him, and it's very much like Big Sammy, I suppose. Sammy's got orders. I mean, we think Sammy's the most frustrating thing, but I've no doubt that 50% of what he does is due to instruction. Do you know what I mean? Like just keep a hold of the ball, take the pressure off here, whereas we're going, run it. I mean, we go back to he's setting Chris Commons up against Hillsborough. I was screaming for him to cross it first time, but what do I know? Do you know what I mean?
So there's another one then, Forrest. We forget about him being a young player because he's such an established first team player. And that wee guy's going to be worth millions in the next few years.
But I hope so, Johnny. I hope so. I hope he keeps progressing.
But I just see what Fraser says about if we get another Aidan McGeady in the next 10 years. With the money Celtic have invested in the youth, I think they'll be a bit disappointed if we don't start seeing more and more coming through, because I think that's the way we're going, because we've not got that much money to spend these days, but that's what they're prioritising now. So I think they'd be a bit disappointed if it doesn't start happening a bit more often. Maybe not Aidan McGeady, but guys that are going to get a game for the first team and be effective.
Be regular, yeah. It's just looking all the years. How many wonder kids have we signed and they just disappeared? They had a couple of matches. The one that always sticks out for me is the boy Fotheringham.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Fotheringham. I remember I was sitting in a boozer and I was reading that we'd signed him, and it was during the World Cup as well. And you were going, Man United were after him and stuff. And then I think he was the lad who done the flick on his head. Remember, it was on the eye. And the boy, I mean, he played at last World Cup, saying that, but he's never really made it. And I just hope it's something to keep watching, and I think I'll try and get to more games myself, Johnny. I know you like to go to the games, and we'll try and keep updated with the under 20s this season. But I think that's good enough. So we'll move on to the last part of the pod, and we'll finish off and we'll look at the Benfica game. Okay. Well, welcome back. Last part 4 for us. This Wednesday night, Celtic make their debut in this year's Champions League, and we are hosting Benfica. So, Johnny, what's going to happen?
We'll probably beat them and then get humped in Lisbon. That's what usually happens when we play Benfica.
Going with the old classics.
Aye.
What are you looking forward to, Fraser?
I'm really looking forward to the atmosphere. I'm just so excited about it. I thought the Helsingborg game, even though I know a lot of fans couldn't make it from the east due to the M8 being closed, I thought the atmosphere was incredible. And I think Benfica will raise the decibel level again. And if you can't play in that, you're wanting to gear up with the fans cheering you on like that, you know. So I'm really, really excited about it.
Do you think the big spell out the Champions League has got everybody a wee bit more excited?
Yeah.
And now we're not taking things for granted.
Yep.
It definitely has. Aye. I think most people can't wait till Wednesday. I think the team's going to get a totally different mentality when it comes to European games.
Yeah.
So I might even have a couple of wee pints before the game for a change.
So, what are we expecting team line-up wise? Johnny?
Well, that's the thing. Do we think he'll play Mika up front? Because you've got to think that he was bought for the Champions League in mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can see the boy Lassad playing. I can see him playing in that Samaras type role. What do you think of that, Fraser?
I don't know, Scott. It's maybe a wee bit too soon, to be honest with you, mate. I think he'll maybe go. The problem is who's going to play in the Samaras role is pretty much what you're saying. Could it possibly be Commons that would play in that role? I don't know. He's obviously not got the running ability that Samaras has got. But I think he'll maybe be a wee bit more cagey, just in regards to the way our defence is, and also, you know, I think obviously Wanyama and all that will definitely play, but I think the team might be a wee bit more cagey than we're actually thinking, attacking wise.
Okay, so we work for the back. So Big Fraser's going to start. You would put money on that.
So Matthews, was he injured on Saturday?
Well, this is what I was going to just come to. So, what's the script? I mean, Lustig seems to be getting the shout in the league, so we kind of hope that Matthews. I don't know myself.
He took a knock, did he not, against was it Serbia or whoever it was? No.
Yeah, that's right. I'd heard that. That's right. Aye, for Wales.
Aye, he got a bit of a sore one, didn't he, Adam Matthews? I hope he's not injured because
he came off at half time against Serbia.
Was it not an each, and that's why they get humped because Matthews went off?
It was 3-0 when he came off.
So it was not an each when they came off then, was it?
It was not an each, aye, that's right. So hopefully Matthews is back in. But going back to the St Johnstone game, what do we do right back, Johnny boy? It has to be realistic.
Well, if Matthews isn't fit, is he definitely it then?
Well, we don't know. Well,
hopefully Matthews will be fit and he just get left out on Saturday as a precaution.
Mm-hmm. But that would be the
Who else can we play apart from Lustig at right back? Wanyama, do I play him at right back?
Three at the back then, didn't you?
Oh, jeez, And we've got a lot to. We'll be anticipating the team getting announced on Twitter on Wednesday night then,
Can we not get Blackman back, no?
But is Ambrose not eligible to play in the Champions League yet either?
Why
did he not get any clearance to play in any games yet at all?
Is that how he wasn't there on Saturday?
I think so, aye.
Oh, God knows myself, man. Right, okay, so we're saying right back, if Adam Matthews does it there, Lustig's in, left back you go to think, is he? Centre backs, what's happening there? Because Charlie McGrew he pulls out one in every 7 or 8, even more than that. He has a poor game, and I thought for the first goal he was terrible, and I didn't think all day he seemed to have problem. Him and Big Wilson seemed to have problem with their attack line.
I blamed McGrew for both of the goals, Scott.
I think he should have been covering for the first goal. Jeez, oh man, he could have got a bus between the gap.
As he got a lot of flack from it, but the fact that I just he let the player get so far away from him.
Mm-hmm. I thought Mulgrew was poor, as you say, Fraser. Maybe even the second one as well. Mulgrew, but we know what Mulgrew can do.
Yeah.
Mulgrew can turn
He's
it
got
on.
to start.
So Mulgrew starts. Does Wilson keep his place? Because for all the doubts about Wilson, he's not been terrible in any games. And Ronye came on and Ronye didn't look. I mean, I think it's always unfair, but you generally don't get a centre half coming on and looking really comfortable, do you? Centre halves like to be involved in the game right very often. Did Ronye come on and play left back? No, or McGrew went left back, didn't he?
No, McGrew went left back. McGrew's chronic at left back, and Rogan was at the place. I don't know why the hell we changed the defence a bit. I forgot to moan about that earlier on.
Well, to be perfectly honest, the boy Paulett, he tore fucking Izagüerre apart.
Paulett went half, didn't he?
But he went half at 12 minutes. Izzy came off at 61. I mean, 12 minutes to go. So I don't know. Again, we're not going to really get in. Izzy can turn it on. I wouldn't have any doubts about Izzy playing. I would go with Ronye and Mulgrew. I think they're the best partnership. Aye.
I think he'll play Wilson.
You think Wilson, John Boy?
Yeah.
So bear in mind, we'll bear thinking, but we're going to go maybe that 4-4-1-1 or 4-4-2, 4-4-4-5-1, whatever.
4-1-4-1.
4-1-4-1. So we think Wanyama is definitely going to start in front of the defence.
Yeah.
So you're going to have, is Brown going to start?
I'd say so.
So Brown come off. Commons.
Yep.
Forrest.
Hopefully Forrest will play. Forrest will get out.
Ledley's no back for injury.
Ledley's no back yet. Nah. And how long's Kayal out for?
God knows, I forgot about him.
I don't even know. Mate.
God,
I think a few weeks more.
But right, we know what's happening in this team, don't we?
We could do with Ki Sung Young back here.
Ki Sung Young, aye. So then it comes up then.
Miku will start then. See the way you're looking
start?
at it now.
Aye.
Miku will start.
So maybe
I don't see who else we can play.
To be honest, so we're just talking about the same team.
Much,
That's a bloody worry. Fraser.
Yep.
Prediction for Wednesday.
I'm going to go with a Celtic, a ropey 1-0 win.
Okay, I'll take that. John Boy?
Going to go for a 2-1 win.
And I'll follow up with a 2-0 on the Celtic.
Did you know that Luisa was suspended?
Is he definitely missing this game as well?
What?
Because I know he got a suspension, but he's suspended for all football.
Aye. He's suspended for 2 months, which includes the first 4 Champions League games. He's going to appeal it, but he's pretty much banking rights because he decked a ref. He's not the ref. The ref made him it, but he still decked him.
This is the best diving ref I've ever seen. It was even better than the guy with the Canio.
Well, they sold a few good players, but they've signed a few players.
Signed a couple of Brazilians, didn't they?
Or they've got 8 Brazilians, man. Jesus.
So it's like they're literally an unknown team again.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about them.
Well, we know the big centre forward they've got's a cracker.
Aye. All right, because he's helped that many in against us.
He keeps battering us, aye. Aye, so well.
It's going to be a tough game, really tough game.
Aye, I think so. I don't doubt that at all, mate. Pablo Aimar. Did Pablo Aimar play last time we played them?
Mhm.
He did.
Yep.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he did either.
I did.
He did.
Yep, definitely did. You can prove me wrong and slag me next week if you want, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay, no worries.
They've got Gaitan as well, and Garay and Maxi Pereira that plays for Uruguay. He's already signed Lima for Braga, who scored against us.
Battered us. Aye. Oh, very good. Aye, so we're all looking positive. We'll see if we're going to pump them, but the players are all brilliant.
I still think we'll win though. I don't know if their away record will be that good, but they were decent last season. Chelsea were lucky to beat them.
Man United.
But they've not played any competitive games since they signed their new players either. So hopefully that'll go in their favour.
Aye. We'll stick with that hope then, John.
We will.
Right, okay, I'm finishing that for definite this time. But that all very good, lads. So, Fraser, thanks very much, pal.
Thanks very much and good night.
Johnny, thanks, buddy.
Right, cheers, guys. See you later on.
See you later.
Cheers.
Well, you made it to the end. Hope you enjoy our latest attempt at commentary on all things Celtic. We are delighted you choose to download this effort and would encourage you to download all the other podcasts in the Hail Hail Media channel, which can be picked up by subscribing to the Hail Hail Media on iTunes, or in Spreaker itself at Hail Hail Media channel, or by going direct to the website at www.hailhailmedia.com, where you can get all the podcasts. We always like to hear some feedback, and especially in this week's topic, any agreements or disagreements welcome. Well, that's us for another week, so nothing left to say but good night, God bless, hail hail, and come on a Celtic Wednesday.